This is the LH4X4 doing stuff. Today we're doing exhaust for the 76 Corvette. So come on along. Alright, these are the pipes, P-Y-P-E-S, down tubes that I was talking to you about earlier in a different video. They're the DCC10S, and they work for a 2-inch exhaust. Where you at? Right there, right? 2-inch exhaust. So let's go underneath the vehicle and show you what I'm working with. Alright. Okay, you see that? Barely. Right. Okay, there you go. See? Right? The flange is too small. The exhaust is too small. That's a 2.5-inch outlet on these ram head style exhaust from Summit. So what I did was I went to the local exhaust shop and I had them flare the tube on both ends, and I'm just going to cut the ends off. That way it's easier for them to put a flare on it, because if you have to, you know, if I showed up with a tube that big, it would have been pretty difficult for them to flare it. So I just brought a 45-inch stainless pipe that I ordered from Summit. Had that modified. And then went out and got the 2.5-inch, 3-inch on center 3-bolt flange. But of course the bolt holes were a little bit too small to fit over the stud, so I had to drill them out. And being stainless, it wasn't easy. And then I called Summit because the exhaust shop wasn't too sure, either was I, on what kind of gasket we were going to use. But now seeing what I have, it's most likely going to be the donut. I asked Summit what they thought, and they responded back with, oh, it comes with a flange gasket. So all I have to do is take this gasket, put it over here, use this flange, and it's going to work. I told him I don't see that happening. What donut gasket do they recommend? And he swore to me that no, it comes with the flange gasket, which it does. I don't know if he was thinking that it was a header style collector. I just put that up there, and like I thought, this is not going to work. Even if I take this and seal it this would go to the bottom of the exhaust manifold. This gasket wouldn't even be touching anything. I don't know. What do I know? I know that if you have the right stuff, like the tools and stuff, you just got to fab our own exhaust. I'm not a welder, but I can get by. So all we're going to do, and this is just an arbitrary length. I didn't cut it at any specific length, but what we got to do is we got to cut this end of the pipe off and weld this on. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the seam, line the seams up so it looks like it was the original part of the muffler, but we got to cut about this much of it off, right? So that's where we're at. This is about 4 3/4. Little over 4 3/4. Closer to 4 7/8. But we'll go in between. So we got some, irregularities in the flare. This line not being cut too square that I know of. So we'll go in between. Four 3/4, 4 7/8. What's that? 13/16, 4 13/16. Right? I'm not a mathlete. No. Yeah, 13. Yeah, 13/16. I don't know what the thickness of that blade is and what the kerf's going to be, so let's get a scribe on this thing and make it happen. Four 13/16. All right, I'm taking this end off, so what I can do is I'll go on this side of the line. All right. So this is what I'm dealing with. I can't cut it straight up and down. All right. I mean, that would be a decent clamping angle, right? But it hits against the machine. Really, this is the only feasible angle. Something like that. But when you tighten it down, it wants to bend it here. So I have to find a way to clamp it back here and right here. So if I can get something, a clamp over there and a clamp over here, it should work. That seemed to work all right. And then we'll drop that on the ground, right? And then we'll make sure to dent the flange. What I was talking about is lining the seams up. These are from two separate pieces of tubing, so we'll just line it up as best as possible and weld that on. You can test fit the flange. See it. So we don't have to worry about putting the flange on before we weld, right? That would be pretty cool. You weld it on, then you find out that it won't pass over the corner. All right, so test fit your flange first. Make sure it fits over the pipe and will fit up into the new piece you're welding. There's several ways to line this up. I guess you could use some angle iron and a hose clamp and hold it in place. What I'll do is, I'll pause here for a second. I'll use the magnet. This is 409 stainless, so I think it's still magnetic. I think the 309 is not. I don't know. Who cares? I'm using 409. Line it up as best as possible. I did a test weld, right? And then that's what it looks like after it's ground off, so you won't even really be able to see the weld. And that's what I'm going for. Dialing in my settings. I'm not a welder, but we had good penetration, and it cleans up. So we'll just tack that up and then lay down the final bead on that and do the other downpipe. And I'm still waiting on the X pipe back to the mufflers. So until then, we're in a hold and squat. Alright, so we're just dealing with some low spots. I'll build that up and readdress it. But so far, not too bad. Blending in really good. There's some imperfections, a bunch. Looks horrible, but I don't want to spend too much time sanding it down. I don't want to blast through the pipe and make it weak. So let's see if the flange fits on. Right there. Now we've got one more to do. All right, so we got some low spots. I'm gonna fill those in with some welds. Where are you at? Where are you looking at? There we go, right there. Pretty horrible. Right, because when the pipe was flared, it kind of distorted it, so this pipe was just a little bit larger than this pipe. So no matter where I try to center it up, it was going to be off a little bit, so there's going to be a high side and an even side. So I'm just going to fill that in with some more weld and take it down. Looks really good from there, don't it? Don't get too close. All right, that's what we need. All right. It's pretty rough. But like I said, I don't want to spend too much time grinding it down. It's going to do the job. Still waiting.